What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so I pretty much took the day off from YouTube. Just taking a break. A lot of content coming tomorrow on the Patreon and on YouTube. Got two more videos uploaded on the Patreon. But I had to come on here to talk about this. All right. So I saw this breaking news from Major League Baseball. This is a historic day for Pete Rose, um, fans of Pete Rose, and for the Cincinnati Reds organization. A day before the Cincinnati Reds will hold Pete Rose Day, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfredi announced that he has removed Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson from the permanently ineligible to be enshrined list, stating that he believes that deceased individuals should not be on a permanently banned list. And, you know, I'm going to give my thoughts on that in a while, but with Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson, I always thought it was bullshit that they were banned from Major League Baseball. I look, be honest with you, I think it's still bullshit that Pete Rose never got in while he was still alive. Now, for those of you who are not aware of what happened to Pete Rose, I know some of my subscribers are younger. So Pete Rose is the all-time hits king in Major League Baseball history. He's all-time leader in hits. He's the all-time leader in singles. I think it's 3,215 hits, 4,256 at bats. I know it's over 14,000. I want to say 14,054, something like that. All-time leader in games played, 3,562. Great player. I think he had 10 different seasons with at least 200 hits. He played for other teams as well, including I think he played for the Montreal Expos, I believe, the Philadelphia Phillies. I think he played for another club. And after his retirement in I think it was 86, he became the manager of the Cincinnati Reds. And that's where he got in trouble because he bet on his team. He gambled on his team. Major League Baseball has a distinct no gambling policy. And even though he denied it for several years after the fact, at the time, the commissioner, A. Bartlett Giamatti, in August of 1989, banished him from baseball for life. And incidentally, A. Bartlett Giamatti died just 1 week after making that stunning announcement of Pete Rose of a heart attack. And also, A. Bartlett Giamatti, a factoid I just want to put out there, is the father of actor Paul Giamatti. But anyway, for the rest of his life, until he passed away, I think it was September 30th of this past year, Pete Rose tried diligently to be reinstated, only to be denied time after time after time after time again. I think after Bartlett Giamatti, I think the next commissioner was Faye Vincent, who died earlier this year. Then after that, it was Bud Selig, who was the commissioner for so long. He was denied. And as recently as I think 2015 or 14, he was denied again re-entry into baseball as far as being eligible. And not just the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose was pretty much banned from baseball as far as being affiliated with the game, like in management or coaching, pretty much just banned. Matter of fact, one of the few times he was actually allowed to be part of the official baseball family was at I think it was in 1999, I think they had the top 100 players celebration. And I think it was in Atlanta, and the crowd was very, very loud. It might have been 2000, actually. I think it was 2000. And the crowd was extremely loud. 99 or 2000, one of the years. But anyway, so this is the thing. Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson. By the way, let me mention a little bit about Shoeless Joe Jackson. Shoeless Joe Jackson was part of that White Sox team in 1919. I think it's back when the World Series was a best of 9 affair. I think it was best of 9 games. But anyway, the White Sox allegedly, I think they threw that series for money. I think the money was paid to them by Arnold Rothstein, excuse me, who was, I don't know if I want to call him a mobster, but he was, let's just say he was an underworld figure. And because of his connection with that team, Shoeless Joe Jackson was banned. Now, Shoeless Joe Jackson was considered one of the great hitters of his era. For many, many years, he maintained his innocence. Many people say, and I agree with it, that Shoeless Joe Jackson, there was never really any concrete evidence that he even knew about the fix, and that he just played poorly because he just had a poor series. But because of the circumstances, he was barred from Major League Baseball, kind of the same way that Pete Rose was, and I believe he passed away in 1961 or 63. I think it was 63. So for the last 60-something years after his death, he's been forgotten. So now what happens is this. I think it's going to be up to the historic committee or veterans committee to meet and to decide whether they want to enshrine Shoeless Joe Jackson and Pete Rose. And I don't think that's until December of 2027. Me personally, based upon my gut, I think Shoeless Joe will get in. I'm not so certain about Pete Rose the first time. I'm just not certain about it. I still get this feeling that they want to punish him again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they want to make him wait. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they will put him in the first time in December 2027. But, I honestly, I still think it's a crime that he didn't get in while he was still alive. I guess they meant it. And I thought that what they're going to do. I thought that they were going to ban him for life, which is what they did. And the minute that he passed, they were going to say, you know what? Now that he's dead, now that he's deceased, we're going to let him in. And it's just messed up because he's not here to see it. I just thought it was messed up, man. So just 10 months after he's deceased, now they want to talk about, now they're going to talk more openly about P. Rose and et cetera, et cetera. Now this begs the next question. What about guys like Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens? Because in particular with Barry Bonds, I guess Clemens too, there was never any actual smoking gun that they used steroids. Just word of mouth. And yeah, you can say physical evidence, but when you look at Barry Bonds from throughout his career, he did get bigger. Now, do I think that Barry Bonds used steroids? Do I think he used it? Yeah, I think he did. But what I think doesn't matter. It's what I can prove. And Barry Bonds is the only guy I've ever seen who has been banned based upon what people think he did, right? Now, this is the problem I have with that. Ryan Garcia was proven to use a PED in his bout. And for some reason, people don't seem to give a shit, right? They seem to want to give him a pass. LeBron James has, to me, just as many ties to PED usage as Barry Bonds, but people want to give him a fucking pass. So why do we have, and I understand it's different sports, but why do we have this thing where if we don't like somebody now, oh, we're going to punish them for that. If we don't like somebody, we're going to use any attachment to something like, aha, gotcha. But if we like somebody, we give them passes. That's not how the fuck it should work. So to me, Barry Bonds should be put into the Hall of Fame because the Hall of Fame is a joke. How do you not have arguably the game's greatest hitter, and with Clemens, arguably the game's most dominant, if not all around best pitcher in Major League Baseball in the Hall of Fame? It makes no sense. It makes none. It's like not having, Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell not in the Hall of Fame. It makes no sense. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.